Hey guys, Neely here. I was just sitting here in the Classic Metal Show studio checking out the website of our latest sponsor, Rock Gear. That's right, if you're a rock fan and you like to wear rock and roll memorabilia, Rock Gear is the place to go. They have a whole line of great merchandise over there that I think that anyone who is a fan of rock would appreciate. They have t-shirts of all your favorite bands, and every product in the store is officially licensed, so while you're shopping for your favorite band t-shirts online, you're supporting the bands. How great is that? And Rock Gear is 100% satisfaction guaranteed. If you're unhappy with any order, for any reason, you just got to contact them. They'll send you a replacement or refund your order. All you have to do is send an email to support@rockgear.store. And not only that, they offer free shipping on all orders in the U.S. over $35. Now, there's a value in itself. And speaking of value, Rock Gear is offering Classic Metal Show fans a 10% discount on your order if you use promo code Classic Metal. Now, that's badass. So go over there to rockgear.store and make your order today. One of the most angry songs that I know, You Fucking Suck. That, of course, is Wasp from the Kill Fuck Die release.
Sure.
And can you believe that's over 20 years old already?
We are getting old.
Yeah, that came out in 98.
We are getting old, man. And I look at that as like new Wasp.
Yeah.
And it's 20 years old already. Yep. Jesus Christ.
I remember coming back from that show, they performed at the Odeon, and I got pulled over on I-77 just before the 480 off-ramp for speeding.
Sir, step out of the car.
Yeah, I'll never forget that. I was coming down 77 just before 480 there, coming out of Cleveland. And this car gets up behind me, and there's a flashing light in the windshield.
Okay.
And it was in a really dark part of the interstate there.
Right.
And it's 2:00 in the morning. I'm thinking, who the fuck is this?
Right.
So I just kept going until I got to the 480 on-ramp where there was, overhead lights.
Okay.
And then I pulled over because it was just like, I'm not going to get jacked out here in the middle of the night.
Yeah, no shit.
Because there was really no markings on this car, and it was one of those stick-on lights that they stick up in their dashboard.
Right.
And so the cop gets out, and he comes up to the window, and he starts yelling at me. Why did you pull over? Why did you pull over? I said, it's 2:00 in the morning. You have no markings on your car. I said, I could go to Radio Shack and buy that same little bubble light you have in your window. You think I'm going to just pull over for just some guy with a flashing light in his car?
Yeah.
That's what I told him.
Here, take my license, write the ticket, and move the fuck on, stupid. Stop talking to me.
Yeah, basically, that's what I told him. I said anyone could buy a little Radio Shack light like you got in your dashboard.
I'm sure he appreciated that, too.
But that's what I told him.
Yeah. What's the truth?
I said I wasn't going to pull over till I got into a lighted area.
Right.
I said, because I don't know you. You're not officially marked. You're an unmarked car. I said, I don't know who you are.
Yeah. And even if I did, fuck you.
Yeah, pal.
I wasn't drinking, so suck my fucking dry dick.
Won't you kill yourself for me?
Yeah. You're all fascists anyway.
Yeah, pal.
Far right, black hating fuck.
So that's what I remember coming back from that show.
Right.
Well, I was out and about today.
Okay.
Some more personal stories here. And I had to take my car in for a recall. I had to take in my new Camaro, and they had to do a transmission flush and synthetic oil change on the transmission. And so I was out early this morning to get this thing done. And so since I was out and it was a sunny day, I thought, I'll just run some errands, get some things done. And there's a local there's a local kind of a 50s burger type diner close by here. So I thought, I'm going to go have one of these old fashioned hamburgers,
Let's try this out.
Yeah. Okay. So I go in there, and the local business owner who owns the local heating and air conditioning company that works on my AC and heating at my house here. I got to know him over the years because I had my AC replaced a couple years ago.
Sure.
And, whenever I've had some furnace issues, this guy's come out and fixed it and stuff. So I kind of got to know him a little bit.
Okay.
Well, he's sitting there at the counter having a coffee, and the owner of this establishment is sitting there, and two local business owners just sitting there shooting the shit, just talking about, the economy, and, these guys are probably close to 70 each.
Sure.
So they've been around, they've seen it come and go. So they were basically lauding the success of the economy and Trump.
Okay.
Saying that, things have been really booming for both of them. Their businesses are busy, but they can't find people to work.
Right.
So the guy who owns the burger place, he's telling the guy, the AC heating guy, he's like saying, I can't find anybody to come to work.
Right.
I'm short staff here. I don't get very many applications. People come in here and apply, all the time. So this kid comes in. He lives about 14 miles away.
Okay.
Doesn't have a phone. Doesn't have a car. So he goes, but I hired him anyway.
Okay.
Because he seemed like, a good enough kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, he seemed like he was ambitious, wanted to go to work, but, he was having a hard time to get to work every day, and he really had no way of calling the guy.
Right.
Because, he lives in a remote part of town out in farm country.
Right.
So he said, I made a deal with the kid. It's just like, well, if I can get you a ride to work, can you make it in every day? And he goes, yeah, if I could get a ride in. So he says, I hired a guy, and, I have my wife go and pick him up, or I have, one of the other employees, I give the other employees some money to go pick him up and this and that. And one day I didn't even have anybody who could go out there and get him.
Okay.
And so I even looked into having a cab or an Uber go pick him up,
Okay.
And he said to go get the guy would be like $43.
Jesus.
So at, whatever they pay, I don't know what they pay. I'm sure it's, maybe $10 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy works 8 hours? That's $80 minus taxes. The guy just basically paid him twice.
Yeah.
Because it was like $43 just to get him there.
Jesus.
Then he had to get him home, right? Or the kid
so
had to.
he wasn't charging it back against the guy's work time?
No, he just needed somebody to work.
Oh, jeez.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, all right.
So, he said, so I talked to the kid. It's like, what is your plan here? I like having you work here. I appreciate you having the ambition to do this. He says, do you have any long-term idea how you're going to get transportation or something? He says, well, I'm saving money for a car. I kind of got my eye on a car here. And he goes, well, what are you looking at? And kid told him what it was. And he says, yeah, but I'm like $1,500 short.
Okay.
And the guy's like, okay, well, tomorrow when you come into work, I'll front you the $1,500 for the car.
Okay, bad idea, but okay.
Well, I agree with you, but this is the type of people that are, he thinks he's trying to help this kid,
right?
Get on his feet or get something going for himself or whatever, giving him an opportunity,
right?
So the kid says, well, I'll be there tomorrow. I'll be there early, and I'm listening to this conversation because I'm sitting right next to him at the counter,
right?
And so guess what?
What?
Kid doesn't show up.
Didn't show up.
Nope.
Of course. He's done. Surprised he didn't show up this day, but not the next day.
Right. But
once he got the $1,500.
But see, here's the thing.
you being a business owner, me, having owned business or been partnerships in business and things, what an economy or what a world we live in when there's so much work, but you can't find anybody to do the job.
Well, do you think that it's that there's so much work, or do you think it's that there's people that are just too lazy to take the jobs? Because there's still people unemployed.
Yeah, I know. And there's a lot of jobs out there. According to the job market, they're saying there's more jobs than people available to fill them.
Sure.
And I have a big project that is actually a little over a month behind. And one of the reasons it's a month behind is because to prep the site where this project is going to be built, they couldn't find enough people to prep the site, pour concrete, get this concrete pad poured and ready. Just because of lack of people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a different time, that's for sure. Making it tougher, and I mean, but this is what we've said all along. It's good for the worker. This guy that can't get anybody to work for him, he needs to raise his wage. I mean, if he wants to have more people work for him, he's got to be $15 an hour or so.
Yeah.
And I know, that I certainly understand that could be a hard coming or a shortcoming for him financially. But you know what? That's what it's going to cost now, because somebody can go somewhere else and make that money.
Right.
And he might have to add 50 cents to the hamburger or something.
Yeah. Well, he was also telling a story that he and, some friends or whatever, they went to a restaurant in an adjacent city over here. And they went to go there to have some dinner. And the establishment owner tells them, we're not serving any food tonight. He goes, what do you mean you're not serving? He goes, well, we don't have anybody to work the kitchen.
No shit. Yeah, well, dude, that's weird. I had that last night. We got over to the karaoke place after Landau's show, and I mean, we were there by like 10:30, so it wasn't like it was late on a Friday night. And I asked if we could get some nachos.
Right.
And they said, no, kitchen's closed. And I was like, kitchen's closed? It's fucking 10:30. I need something to tamp down these booze.
Right. Need to settle down this belly full of liquor.
Yeah, exactly. But they were already closed, the kitchen. Probably the same reason. But you know what, dude? In the end, that's a good sign. And I know that it's probably not a good sign for this guy that owned this place or this guy that owned that kitchen. But you know what? It's a good sign. This is how business is supposed to work. That, if the economy is so good that you have to pay more to get people to work, that's a good thing. That's a good thing for the American worker. And if the economy, look, 5 years ago, when everybody was screaming that everything should be $15 an hour, well, you didn't have any problem getting anybody to work because the economy was so shit.
Right.
Any job was just a job. You could get work. Now you can be picky. Now, I mean, dude, one of my customers owns a truck driving thing, and I was telling you about this the other day. They're offering, if you have a Class A CDL license to drive now,
right,
they will pay you an ass load of money to come and drive.
Yeah.
Because there's no drivers to drive anymore.
Yeah, the industry. I talked to my dad about this because both he and I were in the trucking industry. My dad was in it all his life, and I was in it for most of my life. And we had this conversation. He said the trucking industry needs about 60,000 drivers.
Yeah. Well, dude, my customer showed me on Craigslist where there's a lot of companies advertise looking for drivers, and they're offering huge fucking money, $50,000 bonus to sign on for a year.
Yeah.
For 1 year. If you'll drive for this company for 1 year, you'll get paid your whatever it is.
About your mileage and plus a bonus.
$1 mile or whatever.
Yeah.
And $50,000 just to fucking agree to come there. because they need drivers that bad. I'm like, Jesus, you hire five drivers, that's $250,000.
Yeah.
Just to have enough staff to move your shit around.
Well, that's the thing. There's a lot of freight just sitting right now. There's a lot of loaded trailers just sitting.
Yeah. And it costs more. It costs more in penalty than it does to pay the driver $50,000.
Right.
You know, it's just crazy. But that's a good kind of, and I say it again, that's a good kind of crazy. Because you know what that's going to do it's going to revitalize that industry.
Of course.
You know, maybe not today, but if I was a betting man, what are those companies? JB Hofstetter or something?
JB Hunt?
JB Hunt. Is that the orange trucks?
No, that's Schneider.
Schneider, but those are both the two. Those are the two.
Those are some of the biggest truckload carriers in the nation. Yeah.
I've got to think right now that they're probably filled to capacity because people see how much money they can make. You know, you could go get that job and make an ass load of money.
But see, herein lies the problem.
Mm-hmm.
The young people, because I started driving a truck when I was 27.
Mm-hmm.
And I drove a truck until I was 32. So I basically drove for about 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And prior to that, I was a manager for Roadway Express. I was a garage operations manager.
Right.
But regardless of that, a majority of the young people that could fill those positions,
mm-hmm.
they don't want to work. They don't want to do a hands-on type job. They want to do a technology job.
Yeah, sure.
And they want to work from home, and they don't want to leave the house, and they don't want to, because most of these driving jobs require you to be gone, a few nights a week.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that job. I did that. There was when I did drive for JB Hunt when I started in the industry back in 91.
Okay.
And I was on the road for literally 4 to 6 weeks at a time.
Right.
But that was my choice.
Sure.
And then I went to regional, and I was out on the road 4 to 5 nights a week. And then I went to local, which I was home every night.
Right.
So, the thing is most people, I don't want to have to leave the house. I don't want to be gone all week.
Right.
But as you said, there's a way of making a pretty good living like that.
Yeah. Yeah, you do it for, really, with that kind of a wage, the way they're paying right now, you could legitimately work 15 years and retire if you were smart.
Right.
Dude, if it's a 80 cents a mile or something, and you're driving back and forth across the country, you're talking about $150,000, $200,000 a year, right? Or more.
I would say that on an average, because you got to, it depends on freight and the lanes and stuff. I would say that on an average, probably an over-the-road driver, if you stay with it, if you're a company driver,
yeah,
you could probably do $80,000 to $100,000 a year.
Yeah, so cut that in half. You're banking $70,000 a year if you're working hard.
Yeah,
70,000 times 15, that's $1 million. It's $1 million in the bank.
Right.
That's got $1 million in the bank. You could be 35 years old and fucking sitting at home.
Yeah,
you could be sitting like Bartek on his couch, not doing shit.
Exactly. Well, speaking of the economy and good jobs and the uptick in the market and stuff, and I don't want to turn this into too much political stuff, but I just want to get your feel for what you think is going to happen in this midterm.
Okay.
Do you think that the Democrats are going to take either the House or the Senate?
Nah.
You don't think?
Nope.
Why do you think that?
Because I just don't. I don't believe the news. That's the first thing.
Yeah, of course.
I don't believe anything the news is saying. So where the news keeps saying that there's this the big blue swell or whatever they're calling it.
The blue wave.
It's a bunch of horseshit. That's the same wave that they fucking were flaunting was 95% Hillary.
Right.
In 2016. Just like in 2016, I don't think that Republicans are telling anybody what they're doing. They're just going to do it.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I don't think that most left-leaning people are fucking, for all the bullshit that they talk, I don't think they're responsible enough to go vote.
Yeah.
I just don't think they'll do it. I don't think that they'll actually take the time or took the time, because I think it's already passed, to register to vote and then actually go and vote.
Right.
I think you know what I honestly think is going to happen? You're going to have more cocksuckers standing outside the voting booths trying to influence people on who to vote that don't actually go in and vote themselves. That's what I think is going to happen. You're going to have a bunch of these fucking, pussies with their masks on yelling at people and pushing them around and beating them up or whatever, but they won't go in and vote themselves.
Right.
And that's where I think they're going to be fucked, because people that I say this as more neutral. I know where you stand, and the people that stand where you stand, they already know what they're going to do. They don't give a fuck. They're not going to be influenced or swayed by anybody. They're going to go in and fucking pull whatever says R next to it all the way down the goddamn ballot.
Yep.
And you're competing. The midterms never do the kind of outpouring as the presidential election does. So you cut the number in half, but the people that work, they understand how important it is. And they're generally, I think, most people that are left or right leaning are generally happy with what Trump is doing.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the issue, is that because they're happy with what Trump is doing, they become complacent. They go, things are going our way. I don't need to go out there and do anything now, but for anybody who cares about this kind of stuff and you actually go out and vote, don't get complacent. Go out there and do your voting, whether you think you're just adding on or not.
Well, the thing is, I don't think that the right-leaning people are going to be complacent this time, though. And I'll tell you what, it's the left that's helping. They're reminding you every day with these fucking cunt fucks like Maxine Waters saying that people should be fucking assaulted for not having their views, or cocksuckers like Eric Holder saying that if you go low, we're going to kick you and all that bullshit. You know what? And maybe I'm wrong on this, but I'm just going off sheer sense and probably my own personality only. I think, and tell me if you, not necessarily you, because you're not one of these people, but of the right-leaning people that do you get the sense that people on the right, while they've been a little passive, they're the ones that really, really, really want to have fucking confrontation, whether it's verbal or physical? I think that's the case. I honestly think that the right-leaning people at this point are waiting for the right opportunity to fucking unload. And I've said this to you before. I think the elections is where it's going to happen.
Yeah. I
think you're going to get a bunch of these fucking Antifa twerps trying to influence people at the polling booth. And you are going to get, just like, you saw that video of the Proud Boys beating the shit out of the Antifa guys, right?
I did. And I saw how the media was trying to spin it that the Republicans are claiming the Proud Boys.
Yeah, no, they're not. But whatever. First of all, the Proud Boys, for anybody who doesn't know, the Proud Boys was, and you might not even know this, it was started as a joke on Compound Media.
Yeah, I know. We talked about this a little bit. Gavin McInnes.
Yeah, it was a joke. They had a guy named Rat. His real name is Brett Ratner. And they were teasing him by playing the song from one of the Disney songs. It's like Proud to be a Boy or something like that. Every time he had an opinion, because he came off like a poof. So they were that was how they started with the Proud Boys, was they started calling him a Proud Boy, goofing on him. And then it just turned into this whole thing because of Gavin being attacked at Berkeley and whatever, and people standing up for him. But it's funny that when, that the media will try and spin, it's like that. I'll use that example as an example. The media just ignores the fact that a bunch of guys with masks were up harassing people and getting physical with people. But when they got their asses handed back to them, then it was all, well, the right-leaning, alt-right, racist, Klan members from the Proud Boys beat these guys' ass. No, they reacted to the initial action. That's what's going on, and I think you're going to see that during the elections. I think these assholes are going to try and be out by the polling booths, and I'll tell you what, I'll be one. If somebody tries to harass me at the polling booth, I can tell you for a fact they're going to get a fistful of Chris, because I'm going to punch them right in the fucking face, and I don't give a shit if I get fucking arrested. Fuck you. You don't get to influence me at all. You don't get to talk to me, and you don't get to, like, you saw that video of the woman, didn't you, with the fucking little bitch that was calling out her dead husband from 9/11?
Yeah.
You saw that video?
I did.
My only reaction to that was, where is any other guy that come up and say, what the fuck is wrong with you, and beat that guy's ass? What, is everybody a pussy now? Is that really where we're at now? Everybody's a fucking pussy?
Of course that's where we're at.
Just fucking sad, man. Just fucking sad.
Yeah. Well, you kind of led me into exactly where I was kind of guiding you.
Okay.
Unknowingly. I was unknowingly guiding you for this because, obviously the midterms are coming up here in 15 days or something like that, 16 days.
Something like that. Yeah.
And I ran across something today, and this is for the people in the chat room who are begging to have the end drives fired up.
All right.
I had to laugh my freaking ass off because of some of the campaign commercials out there.
Really?
Yeah. Listen to this.
All right.
This one made me laugh, and now this is what I need from you as well as the listeners.
Okay.
Listen to this.
All right.
San Francisco Giants owner denounces shockingly racist political ad after partially funding it through a super PAC.
Okay.
Now, here's how ridiculous this is.
All right, let's hear this racist ad.
Well, let's get to the crux of this.
Okay.
The San Francisco Giants and the team's principal owner, Charles B. Johnson, couldn't have backed away faster after a report revealed Johnson's contributions to a super PAC that funded one of the most shockingly racist and misogynistic political ads you will ever hear.
Okay.
Now, you know what a super PAC is, right?
It's collection of douchebags.
Well, it's just that they raise money legally to support candidates or causes or whatever, because there's a limit on the number about the money of the amount of money you can give.
It's a way to get around those limits is what they really are.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Okay. How much do you think a super PAC collects? I'm just throw out a number there. What do you think a super PAC collects for their coffer?
I'm going to say $10 million.
Yeah, millions of dollars. Millions.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whether it's 10 million, 5 million, just millions of dollars.
Right, sure.
Okay, get this. The ad in question was created by the group Black Americans for the President's Agenda.
Okay.
Black Americans for the President's Agenda. Okay, that's strike one because, of course, black people cannot support Trump because, of course, he's racist.
Okay.
And for a black person to support Trump, they're off the Democratic plantation.
Uncle Tom!
Yeah, Kanye West.
Yeah.
And it aired across Arkansas radio airwaves with a message of support for the Republican incumbent Congressman French Hill, who is running for re-election in Arkansas' 2nd Congressional District. Mm-hmm. The ad went viral Thursday on Twitter when the account tweeted out the outrageous audio.
Oh, boy.
With a picture of Hill, who is white.
Oh, no.
They had to point that out.
Right.
So who's into the racial divide here, the right or the left?
It's obviously the right.
Oh,
I watch the news.
Yeah. So they had to make it very clear that this was Black Americans for the president's agenda, and they had to make it very clear that this French Hill is white.
Okay.
A report from left-leaning website Think Progress on Friday revealed that Johnson was one of the many wealthy white conservatives bankrolling Black Americans for the president's agenda. Get this. Now, how much should we say that these super PACs collect?
Oh, I said 10 million, but okay. I don't know.
But let's just say millions.
Mm-hmm.
Millions.
Okay.
Get this. Johnson reportedly contributed $1,000.
What did that pay for?
Well, that's a good question.
One time running the ad?
If that.
Yeah.
So get this, they're targeting this owner of the Giants baseball team.
Okay.
For throwing $1,000 at a super PAC.
Yeah. And I'm assuming that he's a Republican?
It doesn't say.
He must be, though, if he's supporting it.
No, I'm sure that as a business owner, because I was in business, we threw money at both Democrat and Republican representatives.
Okay.
Yeah, because depending on who won, if we had to get something going on locally that needed, that was governed by some kind of local ordinances or regulations,
you might need some sway.
Yeah, we need some sway. So we said, hey, we donated to your campaign.
Yeah. Yeah, we donated to your campaign, and we'll donate more if you sign off on this land deal.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get it. It's all extortion.
Yeah, so if you listen to Trump, before he was the president, he always said, yeah, I gave to both Democrats and Republicans because I had to get shit done.
Right.
He didn't say shit, but, it's like, I'm building new buildings, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So depending on who was in office, I need to go to them and say, hey, I need to get this regulation, or I need this ordinance, or I need this.
Right.
And that's what business owners do. They give to both.
Right.
They just don't load up on one side and say, I'm only giving to Republicans.
Right.
They give to both, and so whomever assumes that local office, they go, hey, I need a favor here. I got to get this or that done.
Yeah, I get it.
That's how it goes. That's how business works in this country.
Mm-hmm.
It's not partisan. It's just like, hey, I gotta whoever's in charge today, I need some I gotta get stuff done.
The business has to suck both parties' dick.
That's basically it. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The ad features. Now get this. Now there's no video for this, mind you.
Okay.
No video.
All right.
So, but this article clearly points out that the ad features two black women. How do we know they're black?
Apparently you can tell from their voice.
What? What? You're distinguishing that their race and their color by their dialect?
I do.
Is that what you're doing, Chris?
Yes.
You're racist and shit.
Okay. Guilty then.
The ad features two black women discussing the turbulent confirmation process of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh, who was confirmed despite multiple sexual assault allegations. No proof, just allegations against him dating back to his high school years. The speakers used the topic that argue that the Democratic Party's effort to block Kavanaugh would mean that black men could be prosecuted even worse by white Democrats in the event that they are accused of rape by a white woman. Something that the speakers treat as inevitable.
Right.
The ad, which has been viewed on Twitter more than 2.5 million times,
nice,
as of Friday afternoon, is so ludicrously awful,
right,
that Hill, who the ad supports, even went out of his way to condemn it on Twitter in the strongest terms.
Mm-hmm.
Per Think Progress, a similar ad is playing in Missouri in support of Senate campaign of Republican Missouri Attorney General Josh Hawley. According to the Associated Press, the Super PAC's co-founder, Vernon Robinson, said that the creation of the ad cost $50,000.
See, this guy's 1/50th. That's more
he's
Warren.
It cost $50,000 to produce this ad, right?
He participated more than Elizabeth Warren did in her heritage.
He did. And will continue to be played despite bipartisan outrage.
Yeah, pal.
Robinson himself, known for past congressional campaigns that used extremely xenophobic rhetoric.
Ugh, brother.
So would you like to hear this?
I do. I would very much like to hear it.
All right, kids. Fire up your end drives.
All right.
I literally listened to this 6 times in a row today.
Oh, God.
Here we go.
All right.
What do you think about what's happening in Washington?
Are you kidding
Our
me?
Congressman French Hill.
Stop. What ghetto did they find these two women
Well,
in?
again, is this not a stereotypical black woman speaking? Is this Wanda Sykes?
Jesus Christ. Girl, I got something to tell you.
That's what it was. I was just imagining these two women shaking their neck from side to side and snapping over their head.
Get the fuck out of here with this.
So far, this has had 3.1 million views.
All right, start this over.
Girl, you know what?
I got something to say.
What do you think about what's happening in Washington?
Our Congressman French Hill and the Republicans know that it's dangerous to change the presumption of innocence to a presumption of guilt, especially for black men. If the Democrats...
Man. Girl, let me tell you. Our black men are in some real trouble, girl. They presume guilty and shit. Now that most of them are, they're presuming now. Shit. Can't be having that shit.
All right.
It's hard enough to keep a father in the house on one that's not guilty. Shit. Don't be coming after my man. Don't be. Shit. Jesus Christ, dude.
Democrats can do that to a white justice of the Supreme Court with no evidence, no corroboration, and all of her witnesses, including her best friend, say it didn't happen? What will happen to our husbands, our fathers, or our sons?
Hang on, I'm going to play this on a different platform. This one keeps buffering a little bit.
Yeah, we can't have that. I can't have
What
it.
do you think about what's happening in Washington?
Our Congressman French Hill and the Republicans know that it's dangerous to change the presumption of innocence to a presumption of guilt, especially for black men. If the Democrats can do that to a white justice of the Supreme Court with no evidence, no corroboration, and all of her witnesses, including her best friend, say it didn't happen, what will happen to our husbands, our fathers, or our sons when a white girl lies on them?
When a white girl lies on them. A white girl.
First of all, if that's your husband, why does a little white girl have any lying on your man?
Right.
Man. On your man.
Our mans.
Holy smokes. I gotta say, I might side with them on this. Now that I'm actually hearing it.
Well, what they're saying is, if they'll do this to a white guy, can you imagine what they're going to do to a black guy?
I get it. And there she is. That's her picture, isn't it? Right there in the chat room. That's who I'm envisioning reading this. That's the exact woman I envision saying these things.
Right.
Girl, they did it to a white man. What you think they're gonna do to a nigga? What do you think they're gonna do to our men? What do you think? Girl, that can't happen. Jesus.
White Democrats will be lynching black folk again.
Honey, I've always told
Wow.
White Democrats be lynching black folk again.
We're going all the way.
We're going all back to the KKK.
Jesus. Vote Democrat, get a free rope.
my son, don't be messing around with that. If you get caught, she will cry rape.
Don't be messing around with that.
You leave that white poontang alone. Mm-hmm. Keep your drawers on for the white bitches.
That girl, she'll cry rape.
Don't you be giving her the underside of the turkey. Don't dog me for her. Mm-hmm.
You'll be lynched before the sun comes up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm voting to keep Congressman French Hill and the Republicans because we have to protect our men and boys. We can't afford to let white Democrats take us back to bad old days of race verdicts, life sentences, and lynchings when a white girl screams rape.
Paid for.
Wow.
When a white girl screams rape.
Holy smokes. That, all right. How is that funded? Whoever you're going to play here that says supported and funded by whatever,
Yes.
they should be fucking put in jail for that. What the hell?
All right, here we go. That's who it's by.
By Black Americans for the President's Agenda, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Yeah, the candidate wants nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
That guy's like, fuck, I didn't put that out. I would imagine at every speech he comes out now and says, and by the way, I had nothing to do with that ad.
Well, of course, that's what he said on Twitter, more or less. But here's the question.
Yeah.
Of all the hundreds, maybe even thousands of people who may have contributed to the super PAC that funded that,
Yeah.
why did they hone in on the Giants owner?
Because he's probably the richest one.
Yeah, he threw $1,000 at this thing, and he probably just said, yeah, I'll throw $1,000 at this super PAC. I'll throw $1,000 at that one. I'll throw $1,000 at that one. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, you support racist ads.
Yeah. Meanwhile, maybe I'm crazy here, but the Giants owner is probably responsible every single year for fucking making 50 guys a year millionaires.
Probably.
That are not white.
Easily.
You know, when you go through the rosters of the AAA team and the pro team and the coaches and, you know, the scouts and all that shit. Holy smokes.
But
he's not spending his money in a racist way.
Right. But the thing is they're casting aspersions on this guy because he's throwing money out at political PACs, you know.
Yeah. Well.
And you know, nobody goes, you know what? Can I get $1,000 from you so you can fund 1/50th of a commercial that's totally racist? Oh yeah, sure. Here's $1,000.
Let me give you 2,000.
Yeah.
Hell.
See, that's the kind of shit that people are tired of.
Yeah.
I'm going to hunt you down and find out exactly where you spent every dime of your money. And if one dime of it went to something that, you know,
that I don't agree with,
I don't agree with, we're going to use the terminology in this commercial, we're going to lynch you in the media.
Right. That's
because you're responsible for this.
Who heard this commercial and didn't say, wait a minute, how did that happen? That's what I'd like to know. How did what was it, the black community for whatever?
Yeah, for the president's agenda.
Yeah, how did how was there no quality control and how did somebody hear this final product and said, okay, here's the commercial. Let's all sit down and give it a listen. Yeah, that's exactly what we want. How did that happen? How in the fuck did that happen? Look, and I agree with what you're saying about the Giants owner shouldn't get any backlash for this other than no more than the other 49 people. And really none of them should, because they don't know what they're spending money on. They throw money into, basically it's throwing money into a pot. And then the super PAC distributes the pot.
Yeah, exactly. They
go to the Giants owner and say, okay, this is what we're going to use your funds for this, and we're going to use the owner of the basketball team's funds for that. That's not how this works.
Well, that's exactly what this last statement says.
Okay.
Hours after Think Progress released its report, tying Johnson financially to Black Americans for the president's agenda, the San Francisco Giants released a statement from the team and Johnson. The statement claims that the team was unaware of Johnson's contributions to the super PAC and that Johnson was unaware of his contributions would be used by the super PAC in a way that would trigger so much blowback.
Yeah. Do you think that I don't even know how to react to this thing. Do you think that maybe this was like a reverse ad? Like this group is really like a Democratic ad, and they put this out there under the guise of not being?
No, I think it's a legitimate ad. I think what it is it's trying to gin up a way of showing that there are black people out there that actually support the president, that goes against the grain. Goes against the grain for the black people to support the president. And I think it's it's like Kanye West, meeting with the president and praising Trump for all of his initiatives and things, and people just losing their mind on CNN and MSNBC. Kanye's off the Democrat plantation. He's mentally ill. He shouldn't be saying stuff like that.
Right. Do you think, and you think they found these stereotypical black sounding women to drive the black point home?
I think so. I think it's like, yeah, I understand that language.
Wow.
So I don't know, man. It's amazing to me that we in this country, or at least the way that the media tries to shape it, that if you identify that dialect if you can identify that dialect and say, yeah, that's a black person.
What the fuck am I supposed to think it is? An Indian?
Well, the thing is that because you, as a white guy, would say, yeah, that sounds like a black woman, you're racist for saying that.
Okay, well, when my phone rings and the guy goes, hello, my name is Bill, I don't fucking sit there and think, well, that might be a fucking Native American.
Right.
I know it's a fucking real Indian. Like from India that didn't get hit by the train.
Well, we're going to talk about that.
Sure we are. But, for fuck's sake. Dude, you can definitely tell. When I call somebody, nobody's like, I wonder who this black guy is on the phone.
Yeah, you're buying into the stereotype, man. Yeah.
I sound like a fucking fat white guy. Because apparently you can tell what fat sounds like. We learned that last week. So I think I sound like a fat white guy. Right?
I guess.
What the hell? What kind of bullshit is this? Of course you can tell people from their dialect. And you always have been able to.
But you're not supposed to say that.
Why? It's always been that way. It's always been that way. For fuck's sake. Has there ever been a time that... think, dude, you're 55, 53?
Yeah, I'll be 55 in December.
55. In your life, hasn't that always been a joke?
Of course it has.
So it's not new. Just what? Now we're supposed to pretend that it's not the way it is?
Yes, absolutely.
Fuck off with that shit.
So one time for good measure here.
Yeah.
What do you think? about what's happening in Washington.
Our Congressman French Hill and the Republicans know that it's dangerous to change the presumption of innocence to a presumption of guilt, especially for black men. If the Democrats can do that to a white justice of the Supreme Court with no evidence, no corroboration, and all of her witnesses, including her best friend, say it didn't happen, what will happen to our husbands, our fathers, or our sons when a white girl lies on them?
Girl, white Democrats will be lynching black folk again.
Honey, I've always told my son, don't be messing around with that. If you get caught, she will cry rape.
I'm voting to keep Congressman French Hill and the Republicans because we have to protect our men and boys. We can't afford to let white Democrats take us back to bad old days of race verdicts, life sentences, and lynchings when a white girl screams rape.
Paid for by Black Americans for the President's Agenda. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
I like it. I think it's a good, well thought out campaign message.
When some white girl crawls rape.
You know, I'd like to know why these women think that they're only going to be, married to or dating black guys. Isn't that racist all by itself?
I guess.
That they're assuming that their husbands would be white or black? Isn't that fucking racist too?
That would be.
I mean, geez. Everything's racist. I guess I shouldn't ask these questions when I know the answer is everything's racist.
Of course. So there you are.
There it is.
Thought you'd appreciate that.
Unreal.
That's almost akin to the Willie Wilson for mayor campaign a couple years ago.
Right.
we thought that was good too.
Yeah. Not as good as this.
No, of course not.
Jesus Christ. That's like way over the top.
That's way out. Definitely racist.
Now, Nathan, I'm sure there are some white guys that marry black girls. For God's sakes.
Yeah, David Bowie.
Did he marry a black girl?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think Mick Jagger is wrapped up with one now too.
Is he?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't pay attention.
Yeah, I don't either normally.
Yeah. But you keep up with the race stuff.
Yeah, of course.
If there's race mixing, you're on the beat.
Yes. I got to know what's going on out there.
That's right.
Got to know what's happening in my hood.
Yeah. My men, my women. What the fuck?
All
Our
right.
husbands and sons.
Exactly.
Our men.
Our men.
Our men. Good Lord.
How do you spell that? Is that M-E-N-E?
M-I-I-N. Men.
Men. But you're supposed to, but I think that's like plural though. You're supposed to say means.
My means.
Yeah, my means.
Don't wait to ask them a question. My means is not guilty.
Right.
Don't ask.
If they'll do that to a white guy, imagine what they do to a black guy.
Yeah.
Without any proof.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Chris Aiken from the Classic Metal Show. We have tons of friends that are musicians, and what they care about most is their gear. If you are a gearhead, then you need to be shopping at Amplified Parts. They have everything from amplifier parts to speakers to effects pedals and more, with some of the best prices out there today. Visit them online at amplifiedparts.com or give them a call at 480-296-0890 and let them fill all of your gear needs today. When your gear is important, only shop with the best, Amplified Parts.